Welcome back, and more on our breaking news story. Tributes pouring in this morning for late musician Ray Phiri. We're joined on the line by poet and artist Mzwakhe Mbuli. Mzwakhe, a very good morning to you and condolences as well. Just your feelings this morning upon hearing of the death of Ray Phiri.
Yeah, I would say morning, not good morning. It's not a good one. We are devastated, I think. One is shattered. It is... there's a dark cloud in this country. I think we can't lose one icon one after the other. One death is death too many. To lose a person of Ray Phiri's caliber, when people talk of African idioms about the falling of a big tree, I mean, 70 years, I think this is 7 decades. Of experience, wealth, bravery. Ray Phiri has gone through a lot. He has lost, I'm sure, in his career, 2 different, wives in 2 different fatal accidents. He was a survivor. We used to say it, 9 lives. But the timing of his death, and it varies very sad. Mara Loke called me last week saying we need to do something immediately because she was panicking that Ray Phiri was not in a good state, and Richard Mitchell sent a message. I think we did. People want Mandela song. I think you'll remember that song. It was a collaboration of almost all artists, black and white. And I think Ray was energetic. I think he was brave because no one could tell that he was going to leave us so soon. I think because of his performances, even at Westwood last year. I mean, this is the man who never looked, ill. I think very energetic, full of jokes and humor, but brave at the same time. Remember, his songs were banned under, the previous regime. So we emulated a lot from him. People can learn a lot from him. His music, lyrics had substance. Everybody knows about the Graceland, Paul Simon and them. His part in that big cast. So South Africa has really lost somebody very, very great. I don't know how to emphasize. I know they've lost a number of them in a row, Mendoza, Mlundi, Sifiso and them. But hey, this is another giant that can never be replaced. South Africa's, I think his legacy will live, obviously. His music will live for 100 years. But South Africans, black, white, blue and whatever, young and old, politicians, everybody, I think this guy's played a very big role. His music was a threat to the previous regime. He played a role in the liberation struggle. So I can simply say, yes, we are devastated. The music fraternity here and abroad is, devastated. We have lost a giant.
We all grew up with the music of Ray Phiri, undoubtedly, Mzwakhe, and at every party, Stimela was the music of Stimela waking the crowd up, and many fans probably not knowing about his battle with cancer and just seeing reports recently in recent weeks about that, and also what grabbed the attention was Ray Phiri asking for space and privacy during the time that he was sick, telling one publication to just let him suffer in peace with his pain on my own with dignity. Just what was he like towards the end if you'd seen him?
This was a brave man. Let me give a scenario. Early last year, he was on a wheelchair, still coming from a performance at the OR Tambo Airport. I think he had challenges there. Fortunately, Kalitali of SA Airways came on board to assist. But he was a brave man. For the fact that he kept on traveling despite the fact that he was on a wheelchair, that was a temporary situation. I think he always was a brave man. I'm glad that even his family, his daughter, I know his eldest daughter has always been with him. They kept it, as a family. They didn't want to make it public news until at the very end. So the love that he enjoyed, his family was a loving family. Ray had that family support, moral support. But sadly so, I think he had to succumb to cancer. I think many great giants and heroes of the faith succumb when it comes to this illness called cancer.
Just give us some idea, Mzwakhe, of where he was in terms of his music, sort of or just before he became ill.
I think, look, I'm glad that, as I'm saying, one of the greatest performances that he did with Sipho Sticks and them, they were at a Birchwood last year. But look, he kept on being active. And his music, you can't confine it and say it's a generation of the young and the old. His music, even the young upcoming artists have collaborated with him, and some have used some of his lyrics. I think I know they had to request some rights. But yeah, I think internationally, if you talk of his contribution and you check what he has done to this day, his messages remain relevant. You can't say, where a whisper in the deep. There are songs that I normally listen to radios on Sundays. They play a lot of variety of music. So African Connection, they make sure, whether it's Papa Wemba and them, but Ray Phiri's music, Stimela's music remains relevant. I mean, recently we celebrated even the anniversary of the 2016. They came up with a song that had to be banned on the party. But look, this is the man who was forever relevant. His lyrics were like had an element of public awareness, educational, I'm sure. Yeah, his music will live forever. The lyrics will forever remain green and relevant to all of us. And
sadly, Mzwakhe, just looking at reports recently upon the news of his being sick and his illness, it emerged that he'd exhausted his private and medical aid funds. One would imagine now that there would be some help needed to lay him to rest.
I've seen that with Oli Seng. Oli Seng stayed for 3 years at Arvik, and then the medical aid had to be exhausted. Similar thing with Vuyo Mukwena at Linkswit Hospital. Again, the medical aid had to be exhausted. And when that happens, then you get abandoned. So it's an experience that, it's a bitter experience, a bitter pill to swallow. But that is what we've seen, as I'm mentioning the two other artists I've mentioned, Oli Seng Chuping and Vuyo Mukwena, and now it was Ray Phiri. And as soon as that happens, you become, as a family, desperate, because then you are loyal, you pay your premium promptly, but when that happens, it becomes a challenge and a predicament for either family members or friends.
All right. Mzwakhe, have you been in touch with the family this morning?
No, not as yet. I'm getting a lot of calls. I think we will have to do that now, because Maralo was trying to reach me. I had to respect your honor, your interview, because we were preparing even for, a memorial for one of the greatest men in the industry, icon, who has been there with us for 40 years, a person in Ngubane. His funeral is on Sunday. Yesterday, there was a funeral of Brajoni Mekwa. It's like I'm saying, it's back on back, and it's something that is not acceptable to us, but we don't have the wisdom to question why these things happen. Death just remains a mystery to this day. It's very difficult for us to embrace it and get used to it.
And if you just had one message, Mzwakhe, of what we take from the life of Ray Phiri, what would it be?
He was an honest man. He was fearless. He loved. He loved freedom. He raised humanity. I think he was a humanist.
All right, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there for now. Thank you very much for giving us your time on this very emotional and difficult morning. Poet and artist Mzwakhe Mbuli.